It's been 3 days since I've left my phone behind, 3 days of peace and quiet in this God-forsaken cabin. 3 days away from the stress of work, the nagging of clients, and the constant ping of notifications. My phone was almost certainly dead by now, drained of its small battery, cold and lifeless in the drawer of my car. But tonight, just as I was about to drift off to sleep, it turned on. I jumped out of bed and stared at the phone as it rang. The screen was dark, the battery icon missing. It wasn't even plugged in. I knew that whatever was happening, it wouldn't be good. I picked up the phone and brought it closer to my ear. The caller ID read unknown. Whoever it was, they didn't even bother to hide their number. I hesitated, then hit the answer button. Static filled my ear, then a voice. And when I say voice, I don't mean a voice. It was my voice. It was me. But how? The phone slipped from my grasp and clattered onto the wooden floor. I backed away, watching it as if it were some kind of alien artifact. What the hell? Was this some cruel joke played by my subconscious? Had I somehow recorded myself and set the playback to random? Was that even possible without power? And why did it matter? The phone was completely dead again. The battery was empty, and the screen was dark. I spent the rest of the night tossing and turning in my bed, trying to make sense of what I had heard. Sleep was impossible. Each time my eyes drifted shut, I saw the glowing caller ID and heard the awful ring. In the morning, I got up and made a pot of coffee, the silence of the mountains pressing in on me. Usually, I liked the quiet. Out here, there was no wind, just an oppressive stillness. No birds, just an unnerving quiet. No insects, just a heavy, uncomfortable silence. It was then I noticed the woods seemed to be unusually still. There was no wind stirring the leaves or rustling the grass. In fact, there hadn't been any wind for 3 days. I walked out to the porch and looked around. The mountains were beautiful, but something was wrong. Something was terribly wrong. I tried calling my phone from my car, but there was no signal. This was the middle of nowhere. I should have known better than to come out here. As I turned to go back inside, I noticed something in the dirt. At first, I thought it was a rock. Then I realized it was a transmission tower, one that hadn't been there before. How could this have happened so quickly? What sorcery was this place? I felt a growing sense of dread. I decided to leave, to get as far away from this place as possible. But when I went to start the car, it wouldn't turn over. The battery was dead. I tried again and again, but it was no use. I waited a few minutes, then tried the old trick of jump-starting it with the cables. Still nothing. I walked back to the house, defeated. I had to get out of this place. So I started walking. After a while, the forest opened up and I found myself at the edge of a cliff. Looking back, I saw the cabin, so close yet so impossibly far away. Then I remembered the phone. It was still in the house, still ringing. I ran towards it, desperate, the phone guiding me like a beacon. But when I got inside, it was silent. The phone was lying on the floor where I'd dropped it. It was dark. The battery was dead. Then I saw it. On the screen was a series of numbers, a code. I stared at it, confused. Where did that come from? I entered the numbers into my laptop, but they didn't form a coherent message. They weren't coordinates, an address, or anything meaningful. They were just numbers. But then I noticed something strange. Every single time I typed them in, the numbers changed. The room suddenly felt very cold. A presence brushed against me and I whirled around. Nothing. Was this place playing tricks on me? Then I realized the numbers weren't on the screen. They were in the air. Written in light itself, I reached out to touch them. They felt real, solid, substantial. They hummed with power. And then I understood. This place was communicating with me through technology, through my devices. It wanted to show me something, lead me somewhere. But where? The phone rang again. I picked it up and brought it to my ear. Static. Then my voice. "Are you listening? Do you hear me?" I was trapped in a time loop, reliving the same 3 days over and over. And something was trying to break through, something that sounded exactly like me. But it wasn't me. I'm sorry I'm late. I had to kill a spider. It was huge. Do you know how hard it is to focus when there's a giant spider crawling on your hand? It's hard to do anything. Even breathing is difficult. 3 days ago, I arrived at this cabin in the mountains. No phone signal, no internet, no neighbors. Just silence. It was exactly what I needed to get away from it all. I haven't felt this relaxed in years. But last night, my old, dead phone turned on. I hadn't charged it or plugged it in. It was completely dead. And then it started to ring. The caller ID said unknown, so I didn't pick up. But when I checked the voicemail, it was my own voice. I tried calling back, but it just kept going to voicemail. I don't know what's happening. I'm starting to freak out a little. There's something in this cabin with me. Something that's been here all along, watching me, waiting for me to disconnect so it can finally reach out and touch me. This is the scariest thing I've ever experienced. I don't know what's happening. I feel like I'm going crazy. I keep getting these calls, and they're coming from inside the house. I can hear voices, but when I try to find the source, I can't find anything. There's no one here with me. I'm alone. Help me, please.